What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Nick Smith, of course, you all know Russell. We haven't done this in a while. We just got done watching Annabelle Creation. This movie scared the piss out of me.
I laughed quite a few times.
I mean, this movie's humorous, and my keys just fell. But I've heard so many, I've actually heard reviews about where this movie was good, and where I did not want to watch the first one just because where I heard how bad it was. I stayed away from trailers, I stayed away from reviews, I stayed away from anything, and then I started hearing stuff like Annabelle Creation is actually good, and I was like, okay, maybe I might watch it if it ever comes on Netflix. Well, we decided, well, what are we going to do tonight? Well, we're going to go watch Annabelle. We'll laugh if it's bad. And as soon as the movie started, I instantly got hooked. I instantly got sucked in as soon as the movie started. And basically, I'm going to go through a synopsis of the film for those who, and I'm going to try and avoid spoilers as much as possible. So basically, Annabelle Creation is... Do they ever say what the husband's name was? I forgot what his name was. But it's basically about this family who has this little girl who loves dolls. And when I say loves dolls... Obsession. Yeah! I'm terrified of dolls. And whenever I see anything in this freaking house, I'm like, nope, nope, that's a whole lot of nope. So this family is struck with tragedy, and then we are introduced to the main characters. And eventually they find the little girl's room, they start messing around with things, and then we get the Annabelle doll, and basically stuff happens. Now, the reason why I did not like the first one is because it had nothing to do with the Annabelle case. This one actually did. The story with Annabelle is that if I can remember correctly, someone's mom basically finds a Raggedy Ann doll and gives it to her daughter. She has an apartment of her own, and whenever she would go to work and come back, the doll would be moved. It'd be someplace different. And so she started getting freaked out, and then she would find parchments of paper until eventually the doll pretty much asked permission to be, or the spirit or whatever, asked permission to move into the doll. The girl said yes, and then a lot of stuff, some stuff happened, and then the doll was eventually given to the Warrens. They put that in this movie, even though how they did it wasn't exactly how the case is. The fact that they actually put some true facts in this film makes me like this a whole lot better than the first one. The movie had me for a lot of this movie. This movie is tense. I'm telling you, my heart was either pounding or it was stuck in my throat because of how tense it was. With the little girls walking around the house, and of course, the kids aren't stupid, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, they play on the fact that where little kids are curious and they're easily scared. And of course, they're gonna want to find out what it is, and the movie plays with that so much to where you're like, no, please don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. The acting in this movie is actually very good. They had the two girls who played in the sequel to Ouija. They played sisters, and actually the little girl in this movie wasn't creepy. Which I was like, okay, she can play innocent. And I've seen her play creepy too. The acting from the father is done really well. Oh yeah. We actually see how Annabelle's created, which is actually, it's a normal doll thing. But the fact of the matter is, if you guys love horror and if you love tension, go watch this movie, because my heart is honestly still pounding. I'm not gonna sleep tonight. Now, however, there were some silly moments. Oh, yeah. And that's when it lost me. Because, there's a scene where the girl is basically like, what do you want? The doll turns around and screams, your soul. That I didn't mind, and then we saw, the doll start to come to life, and I was like, okay, you had me, and then that happens. Yeah. This movie will go in and out. It'll have you, and then it'll lose you. But then it'll take you back. It's like, oh, you ain't going nowhere. It's like when you fight Scorpion in Mortal Kombat. You think you get away, and then he throws a spear at you, and then he screams, get over here. Yep. That is exactly what this movie did to me. This movie, I don't know what's going on. It's where the first movies are bad, and then the sequels are a lot better.
Because I think they learn from their mistakes.
Probably, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, you have this information. I don't understand, like, why they have to stretch it out. But the thing that lost me the most was at the very freaking end.
Yeah.
Everything was fine. I was like, okay, maybe we'll get the Warrens. Nope. But we did actually get something that actually kind of relates to the real story once again. This movie does have a lot of the real story in it. Whereas, basically, at the end, one of the girls disappears, and then she is put in an adoption center where she is adopted by 2 people. And they give her the actual Raggedy Ann doll, which I'm sure it's not the one that is behind glass. Because actually it says on the glass, do not touch or do not open or don't even come close to it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they gave her that, I was like, okay, I like that. Then they had her grow up.
Yep.
And then they had it be related to the freaking first movie. I was like, no! It's like that episode of South Park where they have their town taken by the casino, and then they go and get the town back, and then they lose it. And I'm like, you had it! You freaking had it! I was like, no, why did you do this? But this movie actually does have some it has some really good scares. Some scares that I don't think I've ever seen. The movie is actually shot really well.
Oh yeah, the cinematography is really good.
Yeah, it is. Like some shots, how like I think my favorite shot was how they went over the barn. It was either over the barn or over the house. Yeah. I can't remember. But this movie is shot really well.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, the acting is fine. It is shot beautifully. It's tense as crap. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is that this really feels like it has some realism to it. And that's why I would consider this part of the Conjuring universe more than the first one. Because the first one has nothing to do with Annabelle at all. But, I mean, I would honestly give this movie... I'd give this movie maybe like a solid B+ to like an A-.
I'd give it a B minus. Just because, for me, I practically called the beginning, I called the main focal point of the whole story behind it right from the get-go.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw the daughter, I'm like, that's her. She's the...
Well, it wasn't that she was Annabelle itself. It was...
I know.
Yeah.
But you kind of got the
I kind of figured, I was like, okay, how's this going to play? And I thought maybe the daughter was either going to die or something. And then, but the way how she died, I didn't call it all. That just happened out of freaking nowhere. Like, the movie actually does start very, somewhat normal.
Yeah.
It's like, normal family hit by a truck.
Well, car, not truck, but...
I thought it was
No, it was an old-fashioned car.
They don't give a specific year when this movie takes place.
I want to say 1970s.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because... I guess you could say like a total of like maybe 24 years, because they add 12 years later.
Yeah.
And then another 12 years later.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this movie is a good scare film. If you really want to be scared, I would honestly go watch Annabelle Creation. Don't watch the first one. Watch this. Then watch The Conjuring. Actually, The Conjuring is actually a very good scary movie. And I didn't spot like one. Well, I think maybe they did like one thing of CG, and that might have been with the fingers. Yeah. Oh, also when the possessed girl got taller, I was like, okay, nope. Oh, but one thing that they should have done in this movie is they should have called Sam and Dean Winchester. There is a plot. There's a funny thing with the scarecrow, because I don't think the girl actually had a phobia of scarecrows, but it was just that it was a scary scarecrow, and so when a girl gets locked in a shed, all I'm thinking is that one episode of Supernatural with the scarecrow on the tree. I'm like,
yeah,
call the Winchesters, just call Sam and Dean. They said help us on the way. I'm thinking, There's going to be an Impala playing "Carry On My Wayward Son." They're going to have a shotgun with salt bullets. They're going to have something. This movie is a good time, though. I would strongly recommend go checking it out. I wouldn't say if anyone who's watching this has a significant other, if you have a girlfriend, I wouldn't take her to it because there's a good chance you might lose the feeling in your arm.
Yeah.
Because this was me during most of the film. No. This movie had me, even though it did take me out some, but still a good scary film for about the end of the summer.
Yeah.
But I mean, guys, if any of you have seen Annabelle Creation, what did you think of it? Put in the comments below what you thought of this video. What did you think of the movie? And we hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you guys another time. Have a